This is number 71, and it's the problem solving. And we're trying to find how many of the stocks close at a higher price. Normally you'd let that be X, but when I read through this, it tells me the number of stocks that closed at a higher price today than yesterday was 20% greater than the number that closed at a lower price. So they're giving me information about the higher price stocks. So let's let X be the number of stocks that closed lower today. Closed lower today. So those lower. Now what would my higher ones be? The number of stocks that closed at a higher rate today than yesterday was 20% greater than the number that closed. Okay, so higher is 20% greater than this. So if you take the number of stocks from yesterday that closed lower, and the way you figure out the increase amount, you take 0.2 times the number, and that gives me 1.2x, and that's going to represent the ones that closed higher. Well, the stocks either closed lower or higher. So if I add those two together, the lower ones plus the higher ones, it has to give me my total number of stocks, which is 2420. Now there's a 1 here, so I've got 2.2x equals 2420. And now let's divide both sides by 2.2. So 2420 divided by 2.2. I think it would be just as quick for me to do long division. So it's going to be 22. Well, I'll do 2.2 into 2420, but you want that decimal to be on the far right. That means I got to add another 0. So watch, this goes easy. 22, we're going to 24 once. That's 22. 22, we're going to 22, 1, and that's going to be 0, 0. So x is 1100. But you've got to remember that we're trying to find, that's closed lower. But we're trying to figure out how many of the stocks closed higher. So I need to take this x, which is 1100, and multiply it by 1.2. So if I take 1.2 and multiply that by 1100, stick those zeros out there in the far right. So you get 1 times 2 is 2, and there's a 1, and then you get the same thing here. If you add those together, I get 132. I'm going to move my decimal one place. So the answer is 1320, which is D. 1320 stocks closed higher.